Be careful.
Just give me a straight answer. Is the General still in the cradle of summer?
She is for as much good as it'll do her.
Be safe.
But the cards don't lie. She'll never get that door open. Fate says it's so.
Yes. Well, then I suppose we'll just have to change fate, won't we? Thank you for coming all this way. I don't know if you heard that, but it sounds as if General Talera is still here in exile. For all but losing the fortress of Melsenshire. Long ago, Talera led our forces, but then the Tuatha produced a foe she could not best. Her forces barely survived the retreat out of Cluracan. Many blamed her for the loss, to have built up hopes so high, only to have them topple. That was Talera's crime, and she has paid for it, day after day. You're as quick as ever. Talera is in the cradle of summer, banished from the battlefields of Melsenshire until she can atone for her past. According to the Fate Weaver here, she seeks an artifact from Ural Tusk that might break the siege and aid our forces. But she cannot do so alone, for poor Talera is fated never to succeed. That is where you can help. The Fae of House Vengeance has always embraced their anger. Before Gadflow, they accepted it and controlled it. Now they wield it like a pair of swords. When mortals were welcomed into the Feylands, Vengeance already despised us as interlopers. When Gadflow declared war, they were already on his side. In a hidden valley, northwest of the plains of Erethel, the ruins of Ural Tusk lie undisturbed, as they have for many centuries. What Talera wants there is beyond me, but I trust her, even if it goes against my better judgment. Last I heard, General Talera was somewhere in northern Erethel, searching for a way to turn the tide of the war. I think she took a squad to Ural Tusk. You should be just what the General's looking for.
The summer begins here, O mortals. And when the final winter leaves its chill breath on the stones of your fathers and mothers, you will witness the end of days. And it will happen here, where it began, a peaceful death in the cradle.
Be careful around the General.
Hail! I am General Talera ap Gwydion, former commander of the Eastern Alfar forces. Surely you're not the aide Aelin Shear promised. She spoke as if she planned to send a whole squad of soldiers, not one faceless mercenary. You have the bearing of one that's seen combat, but you never fought in the war, or you would know who I am. Once I was the commander of Melsenshire, the Alfar fortress to the east. I held back the Tuatha at every push before the Baelor came. Then everything fell to pieces. Understood. But you wouldn't be the first person that Aelin Shear has used. Most of the time, you don't even know she's doing it. Not that I need any help in my misfortune. You see, all those who involve themselves with me soon face disaster. Such is the fate I have been dealt. The years have been long since I first learned of the means that might deliver Melsen Shear from the Tuatha. It lies in Earl Tusk, beyond a gate fated never to be opened, in a hall awash with Niskaru. Any who seek access to the ruin must face them. These ruins are said to be the resting place of the Piercing Light, a spear carved from the tusk of the Niskaru Duke, Gajor. The legends say it destroys any horror, in the mind or on the battlefield. No place is more deserving of such a power as Melsen Shear. The ruin holds the only weapon known that can slay an Niskaru lord, and the monsters inside will do anything to keep it safe. The Arathi sealed Earl Tusk to be opened only when the great voices rise in song. This may refer to the wind stones scattered across the plains, but I can't be sure. Years ago, this chime was found near the ruin. I've tried using it to make the wind stones sing, but I've had no luck. As if that's a surprise. Long after the Arathi left our world, the mortals built these windstones to call them back down. I've never seen them work, but, as I said before, I'm not known for my good fortune. Earl Tusk, the tomb of the Divine Fang, the Piercing Light. With a weapon like that, I could rally the troops at Melsen Shear, and perhaps redeem myself. They say the ruin is guarded by legions of Niskaru, led by a beast known as Azagal. Whether this is true, or the stuff of legend, I don't know. 10 years ago, I served the Alpha armies, defending Pluricon and Melsen Shear from the Tuatha armies. Then, Witch Knight Malwyn led his Tuatha summoners against us. The fiends routed my soldiers at every turn. Now they've had Melsen Shear under siege for years, while I've been searching for a weapon to turn the tide. With Tuatha raiding parties along the shores, Rathia has the only port for safe passage across the strait. But after assisting Melsen Shear for so many years, the ruling council of Rathia is loath to offer more aid for what they see as a lost cause. Melsen Shear is the gateway into Cluricon, but it's been under siege ever since my defeat. I failed the city once. I can't fail them again. We may be lofty, but we are not weak. Our land is cold and harsh, and we have long studied the noble arts of bow and blade. Across 1,000 battlefields, my spear paints a red masterpiece. The Baelor is a thing of dread, a Niskaru lord that the Tuatha managed to coerce into fighting on their behalf. Against the Tuatha, I had some success, but no ordinary weapon can best the Baelor. One must fight darkness with light. The inscription says the gate will open when the great voices rise in song. I think this means the windstones that are spread across Erethel. There's one just a little to the south. Go there and strike this chime near it. I'll stay here to see if it has any effect. The windstones are located all across the plains.
We're watching you.
I can't believe it. The gate shifted? For all my efforts, you simply appear and make it respond. No one could, not even Fate Weavers. They say that fate has woven no thread to open these doors. And yet, you've done it. But we must not stop here, not when good fortune smiles upon us. The gate opens, but you must find the remaining windstones and strike the chimes. I will stay here. The Niskara within will sense the gate weakening. Someone will need to hold them back. Go sound the chime at each windstone in Arathel. That's the only way to open the gates. I'll stay here and fight any Niskara looking to sneak past us.
We're watching you.
You have absolutely no idea what you've done, do you? Mortals always trying to take something. Thanks to you, the barrier is broken, and the magic weakens. If we do not act swiftly, the Cradle of Summer will be lost. The Cradle of Summer is a blessed place, and we must protect it from those that wish to make such power their own. My barrier served its purpose for many seasons, but magic everywhere has been in decline. Your disturbance of the lore stones destroyed the barrier. You are responsible. All of this world's power flows from the wild of Ishara, and there are places where it touches us directly. Our power comes from the single source, drifting in the air around us, a light on the surface. We protect the cradle with a magical barrier. But now that you've tainted the lore stones, I must sacrifice my own power to replace what was lost. Then come. I will restore the barrier at the font, but you must protect me. The Wild Fae will be here soon. This is the chance they've been waiting for. Farewell. There is no time to speak. We are trapped in a flow from which we cannot escape. Prepare yourself. It is from this earth where the summer fae are said to have sprung. Fully formed, eternal flowers that never fade. For many seasons, our kind have fought to protect the Cradle of Summer and its importance in the Great Cycle. It is most notable where the power of Ishara spills into our world. Our sacred wellsprings, the font in the gardens of Isa, the Cradle of Summer, and Caer Elotha. The flow has weakened, slowing the Great Cycle. But I don't need to see the fonts to know that all is lost. I feel it in my being, deep where the seasons die. I am a guardian of the Cradle, tasked with protecting this wondrous place, our great inheritance. Few mortals know how vital the Cradle of Summer is to all life. If necessary, I will sacrifice myself to ensure that the magic here is kept safe. You have jeopardized that mission. Farewell. I am so weary. But it is done, and the cradle is safe once more. You have done what is right, and I am pleased to give you this talisman as a symbol of my thanks. Perhaps the first one spoke the truth. That the fonts are running dry. That things are finite after all. For that is how I feel at this moment. Drained of all life. An odd sensation, this dying. Maybe there is something to mortality after all.
I saw something in the deep slumber. It called itself a dog. Said it was coming for us all. Suddenly the cradle has fallen cold.
Are you one of the intruders? One of the children of the dust? What else can we possibly give you that you haven't already taken? The cradle of summer is not a flower for the plucking. Mortals, children of the dust, those who seek only to steal the treasures of the land from which we sprung, to end the deep slumber. Mortals, like you, who seek to bend nature to their will, to make it bow before them as a servant, not embrace it as a guide and mother. Mortals, thieves, liars, and weaklings. They have stolen items of great power. They have stolen the three staffs. They are Rivener Tarsus, Gloamfrost, and Ender's Fire. Three incredible weapons forged to end a war that was threatening to engulf your mortal world. Such prizes, such items of power and importance cannot be kept in the open, and so they were hidden here. That is, until the intruders took them. A child of the dust wishes to help the cycle, where there is no precedent. If you truly wish to assist those of us in the deep slumber, you are welcome to. The three staffs were stolen from Sill Hollow and destroyed by the thieves who did not comprehend their power or their value. I heard their dying screams. The pieces must be recovered and the staffs must be reforged. If you can do this, you are more worthy of the cradle than I could imagine. But likely, you will not. It is for those answers that I seek the wisdom of the slumber. For it is in its reverie where I will learn the whereabouts of these thieves, Raff, Purta, and Hagney. They were wielded during the long twilight of the Withering War. Those three weapons uprooted mountains and left the lush plain forsaken. They are the lightning, the fire, and the ice. They are precious. While their magic has weakened in these fell lands, they are still cherished and must be returned. I am Kala, guardian of the cradle. Terenia and I safeguard what has never needed protecting, until now. With our weakening magic, the Fae must tend to our own. It is the most powerful form of Fae reverie, a connection between our people and our birthplace of Ashara, the realm from which all magic is born. We in the Cradle of Summer slumber to protect this sacred place. We draw energy from our homeland and use it to maintain the barriers that keep out the beasts and men. For many seasons, we have protected this sacred space from the darkening influence of the mortal world. For it is here where we Summer Fae first set foot in Amalur. But with the rise of the Tuatha, the magical barriers protecting the Cradle of Summer have weakened. If this continues, nothing is safe from the blight of winter. Move swiftly.
Welcome. Care to join me in my work? You look like you could use a few moments of quiet reflection. This warped old rod? I can't imagine why you'd have any interest in it. It's a patchwork piece, cobbled together from bits and bobs. However, I did invest many hours of my life in its construction. My hands still bear the calluses. I would part with it for a price. I couldn't have parted with it for any less, you understand. A man's handiwork is still worth something. Enjoy the peace, and good day. Be well.
Greetings. You're in my path, stranger. I ask that you step aside before I cast you off the cliffs. I was once part of the deep slumber, but wished to depart the dreaming to pursue something that is more familiar to mortals like you. Ambition. For seasons, I dwelled in the Cradle of Summer, as is my role in the telling. But something called to me from beyond the sea. A whisper of power and corruption. That's laughable. I don't know you. I don't trust you. And I don't like the looks of you. I'm plagued by visions of what your kind call the future. A telling beyond the present. It is all because of this new god. She clouds my thoughts, confuses me. You appeal to me using your mortal sense of guilt, something I truly do not understand. However, my role in the telling does not include Riven or Tarsus. Take my staff. The peace you seek is within. May it bring clarity to the deep slumber. Can't you feel it? Ever since the Withering War, this stretch of earth has been enchanted. Some prefer to call it cursed, but I see all of this magic as a blessing. I walk the broken hills and ravines, searching for the answers to this question. What lies across the sea? Who is calling me with her fiery breath and knowing whisper? I fought our Winter Court enemies right here on this soil, but it was all in vain. The seasons pass as they always have, and always will. There is no ending the winter. I hold it as dear as any fae, but my time had come. However, I took a piece of the cradle with me, a part of a weapon I was meant to protect. I'd earned that right. Be gone.
You look familiar.
Keep your eyes on your possessions.
The deep slumber predicted your coming, as it did many things about you. You were meant to find the staves, to reforge them, and ultimately to keep them. Those of my kind do not flinch from the winter, but the nights grow exceptionally cold and the air holds the stench of decay. Mortals, it seems, will outlast us all. Take the staffs, wield them. They have called you as they once called down the lightning and lit the earth with fire. Do not lose heart on your perilous journey. Farewell.
From the dark of north he came, sword alight with frosted blood, to starkly carve a kingdom from a land of stone and flood. A hero true, a warrior born, his deeds the bards did daily sing. Exultingly they crowned him king.
You've done it. The ancient Irathi sealed this place centuries ago, and it opens to welcome you. Incredible. The piercing light should be in the deepest vault of these ruins. Be careful. The Niskara will do anything to keep us from that spear. The piercing light awaits. Be careful. I have seen too many allies die to lose another. The piercing light awaits. The Niskaru took everything from me. My soldiers, my station, everything. All my life burned when Baelor rose over the fields of battle. These Niskaru, they were not always in the war. It wasn't until the Witch Knight Malwyn started making pacts with them that they fought alongside the Tuatha. We're close now. I've heard that the spear is guarded by the Niskaru warrior Azagal. We will learn if it still is. I see the spear. The Niskaru were sure to press the attack. You must... don't know what to feel. All the years I spent trying to claim this weapon, and I never truly thought I would. I was not fated to have it. Not until you came. You have thrown back the veil of fate and revealed what is truly possible. It's almost enough to make me believe in second chances. Yes, but it is so much more. This will end the siege of Mel Senshir. It will bring the death of the Baelor. It will give me my chance for redemption. And I never would have laid hands on it, if not for you. Kind words, but not true. My day will come when Baelor is dead at my feet, and I would be honored to have you beside me then, too. Meet me at Rathir, the city in the east. Together we will break the siege of Mel Senshir and turn the Tuatha tide. Because of my failure, Mel Senshir has suffered years of siege. Even if I kill Witch Knight Malwyn and save the city, their pain is still my fault. To get to Mel Senshir, we need to take a ship from Rathir, and that means convincing Elund Karth, the city's ruler. With the wards down, I think we can get out this way.